Is it a statewide test that they're
That's something that we're doing. I don't know, I can't say that the state's doing the same thing. That's an initiative that we sort of are working on in partnership with the United Way to get the kids at the front end, but we're also getting parents via Parent University. Yeah, which is at the school district.
How do you see the future of the Keystone Stars program, like, or the Teach program, which is like a scholarship for the daycare teachers?
Yeah.
Because as far as I know, because of the budget cuts, most of the daycares who had subsidized children in their centers, they couldn't get their funding, and some of them had to close just a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And with another bill coming in like this, do you think there might be a cut on the Keystone Stars to make some room for the other one, or?
The biggest problem when it came to CCIS, who issues out the payments, was that CCIS wasn't funded, and they were supposed to be funded July 1. We didn't pass a budget until October the 8th, so that was a big black eye for the General Assembly. And there were a number of folks, smaller providers, who couldn't access a credit line for 90, 120 days to, stay afloat. So many of them did close, and that was, one of the unintended consequences of the budget impasse. But you will see those line items. Okay, sorry about that. You will see those line items actually grow at scale, because there's a work group around protecting those line items when it comes to Head Start funding and subsidized childcare, because I'm aware that the waiting list is in excess of 7,800 people just in the 5-county area. So there's more than myself, but there's at least 15, 16 other people who are committed to sort of the early childhood education issues, and will make sure that those line items aren't cut in the future. And we won't have the same issue this year. I can guarantee you the budget will be done on time this year, partly because it's an election year. And unfortunately, the 101-day impasse didn't have a whole lot to do with policy. It had more to do with politics than it had to do with policy, because the same people who were proposing that we cut education were the same folks standing up at rallies saying they're for education. So there was a ton of hypocrisy in that process. And, as a result, there was a tremendous impact on small nonprofits and some of the smaller child care providers. But those lines, to me, are sacred. To me, are sacred because what they actually mean. And there's a few other folks who think the way I do that will make sure that they're protected in this year's budget going forward. But the unfortunate byproduct of our mess of 101-day budget impasse meant that CCIS didn't get funded, so many of the providers weren't paid. And if you're on a small scale, you don't have the relationships with banks that some of the larger guys like what do they call it? Brightside Academies and some of the other ones have access to. So that won't be an issue this year. I think the governor actually proposed a 3% increase from last year.
Going back to college students helping on grants and stuff. Well, I have kind of two questions, but it's sort of one.
Sure.
So, because I wasn't sure who's coming, but thank you for coming.
No problem.
Again. Students that are back in other country that are related to people that are here, that are going to good colleges and good schools back there. Is there any ways that they can get education here? I'm not saying that with the help of financially people that are already ready for financial stuff overseas, to send kids here and get an education here. Sort of, but my main question was, there are families that are, everybody's here, and only, for example, my cousin, she's still back in overseas. This doesn't belong here, but what is just your opinion? What do you think? Is there any way that we can still do something about? Because I know many other people that are left only by themselves, and all the other family relatives are here. Everybody.
As long as they have family here,
Yeah.
you know, my suggestion would be, you know, because you have to be here 10th, 11th, and 12th grades, is get them here sort of, you know, by their 9th grade year. And there's no sort of requirement that they, you know, have, you know, as long as they're a student in a Pennsylvania school by that, you know, by, you know, 10th, 11th, and 12th grades, and they would qualify. Does that answer your question?
Not really. Probably I gave it wrong
What
question.
we
but-
can do is we can continue talking specifically, you know, after the,
Okay.
you know, talk to
All right. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll have time.
That's fine.
If that's okay for you, like.
That's fine.
Well,
Well, thank you for inviting me. I hope I didn't bore you to death.
Thank you very much for coming. We have a small brochure. This is our organization brochure and the other information in it. And I can open it. I usually open it in PowerPoint. This is a gift from Turkey.
Ömer abi sen nereye gidiyorsun?
No. This is cool. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming. If you have more questions, like that's take a little longer.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
they can ask, you know,
Absolutely.
Well,
thank you.
Thank you.
And there are more foods. Anybody wants to order more?
Ömer abi önünü kapattı tamamen yani. Hadi. Vallahi hiç çekilmedi. Neyse fotoğraf saydı. Düşünmedim ya.
İşte en güzel anı da Turkish kafe.
Yeah, Turkish coffee.
I don't drink coffee, but I'll try it. You want a picture of this? You cannot deny that you are. Yeah, I don't like the taste of coffee, but, you know. Oh, yeah.
But the brother is another meaning of it. So if you drink this coffee, you're obligated to come here for 40 years. Every time you call it,
That's an acquired taste. But I've tried coffee once and never again. Oh yeah, I drink tea.